Okay, so this next sketch is by Christine Harden, I believe. Yeah, so I did that one. By Christine Harden. And I'm also combining this with Rainbow Crush, which is orange. So that's put on by Tara from the Paper Snob. So it looks like you got a couple triangle pieces here, with like like kind of some layered paper back here, triangle, or not triangle, diamond shaped pieces or rectangular pieces, just, flipped with a rectangular piece of paper. Looks like a picture, like a photograph there. I might end up doing 2 photographs instead of just, actually I will, instead of this strip of paper. And then there's the tag there with some of the butterfly ephemera, which that ephemera will be different. So I'm actually going to use later Gator for this. So it's going to be 75% orange. So I probably will go with the base paper. Although this would work okay too. I think the base paper, I've got some base paper left. Or even this, I could do that. That's orange. So here's the base paper. I do have some orange left. Got this one, and I think I've got another piece. So I've got two of these. So I don't know if I'll make this the main part of my layout, and then do some of the pattern paper on top of that, or do this on top of the pattern paper and have this be one of my rectangles, like the top one, and then do the bottom one as something different. But really the only ephemera I have to go with this is I've got this sticker sheet, and then I've got a little bit of an ephemera pack here, which isn't a ton, but it's got a couple like little frames and that in it. So that's what we're gonna do. The pictures I've got are a couple of my son sitting on an alligator, not a real alligator, obviously, sitting on an alligator. We were taking a, what do they call it? An airboat ride. Is that what they're called? So we were in Florida. And so I am going to pause this, get the pictures printed off, and then I will be back to start. And so I'm going to start going through my papers here. And with the Rainbow Crush Challenge, you're supposed to use 75% of whatever color is picked out for that month. So, of course, I'm going to try to get as much of this orange on here as possible. This collection is so cute. It really is for little boys. It's got some, like, I mean, it's boy-centric. It's got, like, a lot of little sayings for boys. And so as soon as I saw it, I just had to get it. I really liked it a lot, so. Really the only ephemera that I pulled on this was the ephemera that I showed at the beginning. So the cardstock stickers and then that ephemera pack. I had a really hard time picking these papers because I just thought it was all cute. And then, of course, coming across the challenge of trying to get, 75% of the layout orange, that was the other thing I was kind of running into because I wanted to make sure that I was adhering to that. So anyways, there will be others that are playing along. There will be people on Instagram, and there's also people participating on YouTube. So I'll include that information down below. There's a playlist for YouTube. So if you want to go check out other people's videos who are playing along. So I was saying we had taken the kids on an airboat ride. So that's... You'll see the pictures come in here in a little bit. So they had like this big, huge fiberglass alligator sign out front, and so my son sat on it. We took a couple of shots with him. But let me tell you, when we took the airboat ride, my oldest was 6. My middle son was he would have been just about 3. And then my youngest, my daughter, was not even a year old. And I remember going on airboat rides as a kid and just having a blast, like having fun. And I got on one So it had been probably since I was a kid, since I had been on one. But I got on it and I ended up having like not a panic attack, but I did not enjoy myself. Let's just put it this way, the whole entire ride, because those can go pretty fast. They're pretty loud. I mean, we all had ear protection on. My daughter ended up actually falling asleep on it. She found it soothing and relaxing, I guess, the wind and the noise, the humming of the noise and all that. Plus I had her strapped to me, so if you had a young kid on there, they had to be like in a baby carrier. So I had her in a baby carrier, but I was so nervous because in certain parts, I mean, they can go pretty fast, but I think the airboat driver, I think he kind of sensed my trepidation about it. And he didn't go super fast. He actually like kind of took it a little bit more calmly and slowly. So I was thankful for that. But anyways, I didn't have fun. I think the kids did. My middle son, he was a little nervous. I think he was a little worried. But my oldest, I think he enjoyed himself. So anyways, I decided I was going to work in some of the stripe paper. And I was trying to back it with some different pieces because I thought that blue plaid was going to kind of blend in a little bit too much. And I switched this around, so I really kind of could have probably used that little alligator paper there with the alligators and the bikes, because I just thought that was cute. But I do end up changing things around, but I really did like that stripe paper, so I just left it be. But you can see I'm trying to like kind of back it, so then that way it stands out a little bit more from that blue paper. I was just kind of trying to like try different ways to make sure that kind of stood out from it. And then I do decide to switch the alligator paper with the plaid paper. So that was kind of my remedy for that. At the end, you will see I actually end up, so the plaid paper goes on top here. On the back of the plaid paper is actually that same grid, that orange grid paper. So this was actually the square that I had cut out when I got the center, I believe it was, of that orange paper. And so I actually will end up, you'll see at the end, I flip it over and actually use that part instead of the plaid. So really, like, these pieces that I was trying on there would have worked, but at the time I was pretty insistent on doing the plaid. And I decided to change it last minute because I felt like I needed just a little bit more orange on here, so. And then I'm going to pull out some of these ephemera pieces. My goal was to try to use the orange pieces out of the ephemera, either on the cardstock stickers or out of this ephemera pack, just to work on a little bit more orange, because you can see I've got like a lot of green, a lot of blue, and probably not near enough orange. So I'm trying to pull in some of these cardstock stickers. And you can kind of see, I don't know, because I'm a little off screen there, but I'm actually de-sticking it with my little powder tool, just in that way. Anytime I'm working on with cardstock stickers and I'm kind of still putting together the layout, I will usually de-stick it. Or what I was doing before I actually had this tool is I'd stick it to cardstock and then fussy cut around it. And a lot of time I do that, so in that way I can either make, the cardstock sticker dimensional, so pop it up on foam, or if I want to be able to move it around on my layout while I'm still kind of getting my layout figured out, so. And I had actually bought 2 of those cardstock stickers. So one came in, I think the paper pack, and then I bought one separately. I didn't realize that one came in the paper pack. So it was kind of actually a nice, a happy mistake, because I actually have gone through quite a bit of the cardstock stickers. So, and then I find this cut apart sheet here, and I found this little tag that said Later Gator on it that had a lot of orange on it. And so I decided that I'm going to put that on there just to get more orange worked on. And you can see like a lot of the sayings are for little boys. Like, you know, they got boy banner. They've got, I think one of the sayings is like dirt, noise, and all boy or something like that. Something like that. This little alligator I just thought was so cute. So I decided to move him up here instead. And then I found this little alligator where he had roller skates on, and I felt like that fit him better down there. And even though he's got roller skates on and a backpack, which isn't really what, you know, we weren't roller skating, but I felt like he kind of closely mimicked how the alligator looked that he was sitting on. So got this little piece that says chomp chomp and a couple little alligator prints there. And then this sticker says this is fun. So you can see I'm trying to mostly work in orange pieces just to get a little bit more orange onto the layout. And when I sat down to start this layout, I was actually going to try to use Paige Evans' Legendary collection, because I bought this, I think, at the same time. Like, for some reason, when I was looking up the Legendary, I don't know if for some reason, like a cherry on top, it kept popping up in my Facebook reels or my Facebook feed. This kit did, or this collection did. And so I think just naturally in my mind, when I saw that Paige Evans, the Legendary, didn't have enough orange in it, I just naturally thought of this collection and thought it turned out really cute. I had a few little star stickers, and you can see where that plaid paper, I flipped it and used that orange instead. Even though not as much as pecan, I mean, you can't really see it as much, but just a little bit more orange on there. And here are a few close-up shots. I really appreciate you for coming by to watch another process video.